Hello, everybody, again, and welcome to my channel. I hope that you can hear me. I hope that I'm not speaking too softly in case these settings aren't the word they're supposed to be. I appreciate having you here. I appreciate the all the exciting and very welcoming energies that I feel through now. There's also some negative energy that comes in. There's a little bit of everything, but mostly positive for everybody. So it's great that we can all share, and I feel that everybody has a piece each one of us has a piece of the puzzle that we can add in, a piece of our own experiences, a piece or part of the whole, so that we can communicate, we can all share, we can all just energetically, you know, live the experience of this transition that we're having into a fifth dimension. You know, it's amazing, it's great, it feels wonderful to be here. So I'm just really here to do two things. I want to um, just a message that needed to go out, and this is very important. Most of it, as I received it, I just let it linger and let it sit for a while. The energy, it comes at you, right? And you just have to be able to accept it. And it doesn't come at the best of times. Usually there's something happening simultaneously that, makes this possible. A tunnel or a connection happens at a certain time for whatever reason, under any circumstances. I don't know the details, but they come in, and usually the time to write this stuff down isn't the best. You're driving, you're walking, you're having a conversation with somebody, and you'll get something, and it just happens that way. So I've been there's a heat wave here, and it's absolutely horrible to make this LED here isn't really LED. It must be something else because it's making me sweat. In any case, we have the where was I? Okay, so I have these two messages, and the messages came in. They weren't exactly um, very detailed. They did just kind of leave that information there, and as I digested this information, I got a few things. Um, and this is how it goes. So, the very first thing, in line with how we're connecting with each other, right? And just you have to learn how to manage the situation well, so that you can accomplish your goal and just be very nice and be very in tune with your frequency, right? So this very first message came in, and it was very specific. It says the Pleiadians were talking about the mission to Earth. So many, many, many million years ago, there was a rift, there was a conversation, there was um, a sort of dialogue amongst all the Pleiadians when they realized that Earth called for help. So, as a whole, Earth called for assistance and help, and the Pleiadians heard they call it the clarion call. A clarion call, right? A trumpet. Most of you would hear in the Bibles or the scriptures that they would talk about the seven trumpets rang. A lot of the stuff in the book, in that specific book, is very real, but then it's just, you have to really dig for the stuff that resonates with you, and just stick with what resonates with you at the time. So the clarion call came out, Earth beckoned for assistance, and the Pleiadians gathered, and they said, well, I'm not going down there, this is a horrible place to be, it's going to be an experience where we don't want to go through, we most were choosing not to participate in the assistance of bringing Earth to its pristine condition, which is a natural fifth dimensional, I think also a sixth dimensional experience is very possible on Earth. Okay. So when they just deciding not to go through with any of this at all, the king and the queen of the Pleiades stepped up and volunteered themselves to participate in the liberation of planet Earth. So when they participated in the liberation of planet Earth, when they agreed that they would go down into this dimension, the first thing you do is that you have your own page of the things you're going to do when you're here, right? You have this information, you put it all down, you write it in, you agree. You don't necessarily sign anything, but as your mission progresses through the stages of where it's going, we have to be very grateful that others prior to us came and laid the groundwork for us to be in a situation where we can talk about this and really just know you know, get a grasp of how much it took to get to a level where we're going to ascend. Because this is what it's about. It's about ascension. There's a lot of planetary things going on. There are a lot of situations that are part of the whole. But the focus of a lot of us, star seeds or way showers or whatever you want to call us, is to talk, to communicate, to express, to reach out, to say, hey, there's something better. So the king and queen agreed to come down here and participate in the program. They wrote down the things that they were going to do. They had a life purpose, a mission, or a plan to accomplish and things to do as they were going through this process. Then Ed led every other Pleiadian to also accept the mission, you know? So it's a volunteer, and just that catalyst of the king and the queen deciding to come down here was enough for them to say, well, you know what, I'm going to spend 100 years, whatever my plan or purpose, whatever groundwork I have to set up here to make it work so that we can liberate planet Earth, this I will do. All right? And that's across many incarnations that you go in and you do work and you come out of Earth. Okay, so I'm just going to answer a question here. The question is very simple. How do we, under what circumstances, let's see, hold on. Right, so you have the incarnations, and the incarnations start and they end. So what you want to know is what happens when you leave, when you exit the planet, right? When you die. What happens is you go out, you review what you've done, and then you go back, and then you probably have to participate in some kind of maybe some karmic things to resolve. And I see that your karmic thing is personal. It's, you're not going to necessarily be involved with the person that you've hurt or any of the damage you may have caused, but you will be given opportunities to see if the actions that you've previously done that were incorrect, to see if these are going to be addressed. Are you going to, you're welcome. Are you going to do it right this time around? And it's minute, but it is something that's dragging your feet. It's a ball of chain, and I'm using a very I'm using a very aggressive example for nothing. You know, But you're dragging on. You right. You have a bag of something that you need to let go, and that energy that's tied to it is going to release once you start working with the processes and the situations that are laid before you, so that you can free yourself. So another thing is this kind of energy that's around you, you would feel it for yourself. So just think of the time when you feel light, when you feel liberated, where you don't feel vengeful, or if you don't feel, and I'm talking out of experience here because I deal with the things that are in my surroundings. Your things could be a little different, but maybe you don't feel like you've been hurt, or if you feel like you've been vengeful, or if you feel like you need some kind of compensation for something that you've done that wasn't, um, yeah, it wasn't. Mm, you didn't feel like you didn't feel the satisfaction of um, a please or a thank you, or even maybe a letter or a note or something saying, you know what, we appreciate what you've done. And sometimes you have to ask for these things. Necessarily, they won't come to you, but you'll be liberated, right? You'll come to a conclusion where you'll be able to clear out a lot of these things. And let me just remind you that this happens. It's gonna happen easier and faster each and every time. So if you feel like now in this lifetime you're running across a situation that bothers you and it just keeps repeating itself again over a course of a certain period of time, it'll probably continue throughout your life because I these lessons or these situations are going to manifest themselves easier so that you can ascend. There's very few or very little things to worry about in general, but for you in your situation, I say that you're going through that that process, and it's easy. You just have to know when it's been released, and then fill that empty space with something else, because you feel an empty space. You fill the empty space with something else. Okay, that's what I recommend for you to look for more than anything. All right. So now that was just the scenario of the king and the queen. Mm. I can't go on doing these things for half an hour. Just for you, this other person, keep sending your energy. It's gonna resonate. It's going to bring the. I'm gonna get a more of a better reading of what your com- coming up against, but I don't think you have a scenario like the one I previously mentioned. This is another person. This is someone else. Yeah, I don't really see anything that's like. I don't see anything that's troublesome. You might want to think you're something that you need to fix, but I don't really think so. But let me move on to this before I end this video, which is the next section, which is the most recent thing. And this is more like a catchphrase I'm going to start using when I feel the energy that I have, that I resonate with. I'm going to just put this catchphrase here so that I, for myself, could connect with it, because it explains something very important that maybe some of our more advanced listeners may be able to understand, and give them a whole idea of the outside of this world scenario that we may be having here. There's more to it, and I'm going to put that down as well when I get it, and then I'll just put it under a heading. So for myself, I'm not just talking about this, I am underlining the unorganized organization that I'm trying to kind of get myself here through. Okay, to the point. So this is how the story goes, dot, 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 dot. And it explains it this way. On other worlds and star systems, there are civilizations that have gone through this Earth experience. So we're living the Earth experience. Okay? So it's like you're drinking an orange juice, right? You're drinking a celery juice. You're drinking an apple juice. You're drinking a juice, but you're drinking a different type of juice each time. Okay? On other worlds and star system, there are civilizations that have not gone through this Earth experience. So another thing I want to add is that the experience on Earth is very unique. Now, let me just continue from here. Meaning that there are 3D and 4D civilizations that are naturally evolving without or minimal interference. And then here it says the law of non-interference. And then it says remember question mark. And what I'm seeing is, if you can imagine it as you're standing on top of the Earth and you're looking at another planet, or if let's say that you're standing outside and you're looking at the moon, so you're facing in a direction that goes outwardly. You have the control, you have the ability, you are very in tune with the scenario here on planet Earth, and now your mind is being drawn to, okay, well, in the next XYZ amount of years, what's out there for me, or what can I expect from the outside? So I'm going to go back to what I mentioned before as a side note. I said that the Earth civilization, the Earth experience is very unique because reptilians and the whole, let's just put it under one umbrella, darkness, whatever you might want to call that, has chosen this planet as their place to do their nasty things. So there are civilizations, again, I'm just repeating this, that don't go through an experience like the one we're having. So I don't want you to think through this information that everyone's going through the same thing, and not everyone's going to have the same sort of mentality coming out of the experience that they've been through. So once we're done with this experience, right? Once we turn the page on whatever's happened in this global situation, and we move on to something different, then don't think that other civilizations have gone through everything like that. In fact, they're going to come here and they're going to ask you, what happened? How was it? Can you tell us what you did? What was your role in the whole situation? And you're going to have a lot of people ask you these kind of questions, probably telepathically. And I think I covered it all. Any excess that I might be saying now is just me saying things. You're welcome. The energy's still there. Everything is, everything's ready to go. But they're going to come up with more information. Maybe they might speak more about reptilians. And if I can connect with that kind of energy through my experience that I've had, or I could receive more information intuitively, then I will be able to put it down, and hopefully maybe I'm not jogging that time, because then I have to piece sentences together and fill in the blanks as best as I can. But I do get a really good, clear message most of the time, and it's getting better. All right? So I leave you with that. I hope you guys have a great day. This heat wave it's killing it out here. We're just, we're not enjoying it. And we're hoping that maybe it gets better soon in the next couple of weeks, and I might be able to come with a video. And I will keep you posted when I'm ready to put anything down on paper and deliver to video for you. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your evening, and I'll see you soon. Take care.